So what are the biggest, most game-changing trends we can expect in artificial intelligence in 2025? It's a massive question, right? And today we're going to try to unpack the answer.
Seriously, what is AI going to look like next year? We're going to break down some of the most fascinating predictions out there, starting with the big ideas and moving all the way to how this stuff is going to show up in the real world. Based on where the tech is headed, we can make some pretty solid guesses. So, let's just dive right in.
Okay, but first, a little behind-the-scenes honesty. The source for today's explainer kicked things off with a funny confession. For their 2024 predictions, they kind of cheated. They waited until March to get a head start. This time, though, nope. We are looking ahead with a totally clean slate.
So here's the game plan for today. We're going to start with the big one, the quest for AI that's genuinely smarter. Then, we'll look at this weird split that's happening with AI model sizes. After that, we'll get practical and see how AI is really going to get to work. And to wrap it up, we've got a trend that's actually up to you. First up, the quest for smarter AI. This is all about the massive push to get AI to evolve from just being a tool that spits back information to being a system that can actually reason its way through a complex problem.
And that leads us right into our first major trend, agentic AI. You've probably been hearing this term pop up everywhere, and for a really good reason. Think way beyond a chatbot that just answers a question. An agentic AI, well, it's a system that's designed to understand a goal you give it, create a whole multi-step plan, and then actually go out and do it using different tools and databases.
The promise here is just huge. Imagine telling an AI, hey, plan my entire business trip to Tokyo. Find the flights, book the hotels, schedule the meetings based on everyone's calendars, and make sure I have a dinner reservation near the hotel for Tuesday. An agent is supposed to handle all of that on its own. It's a gigantic leap from just asking questions to actually getting things done. But here's the reality check. Today's models, they're not quite there yet. They're pretty good at simple one-off tasks, but when you give them these complex multi-step plans, they can get confused, lose the plot, and make some pretty basic logical mistakes. So, to build real agents, the AI just needs to get smarter. The question is, how do we do that?
Well, one really clever solution that's gaining traction is something called inference time compute. Okay, so instead of the AI giving you an instant, and maybe wrong answer, this method lets the model think for a little longer. It's like if you ask a simple question, you get a quick response. But if you ask a really complex one, the AI might take a few moments, or heck, even a few minutes to really reason through the problem. This lets it improve its reasoning without having to go through a super expensive retraining process. And this might just be the key that unlocks those truly smart AI agents we're all waiting for.
All right, for our second section, we're diving into something that sounds like a total contradiction. Even as AI models are getting unimaginably, ridiculously large, they're also becoming incredibly small and efficient at the exact same time.
The entire field is kind of splitting into two different paths. On one side of the coin, you have the next generation of very large models. We're talking absolute behemoths that live in massive data centers, built for raw, maximum power. And on the other side, you've got these tiny, hyper-efficient, very small models that can run right on your phone or your laptop to do one specific thing really well. No internet required.
And when we say very large, we are not kidding. Today's biggest models have maybe 1 to 2 trillion parameters. You can think of those like little knobs that tune their knowledge. That's already a huge number. But the next generation, they could have upwards of 50 trillion. That is just a mind-boggling leap in scale, and hopefully in power.
Okay, so we've got these smarter models, and we've got models of all shapes and sizes. So what does that actually mean for the real world? Well, Section 3 is all about how AI finally gets to work, changing everything from big business to our daily chats.
You can really see the evolution in the business world is about to speed up. Right now, in 2024, AI is mostly used for pretty simple stuff, like routing your customer service call. But by 2025, we're looking at a huge jump. We're talking about bots that can actually solve your complex problem, not just pass you to a human. AI that can proactively manage and optimize an entire IT network. Security tools that can adapt to new threats as they happen. It's a massive shift from just assisting people to actually automating some seriously complex work.
So what's fueling this big change? Well, one of the key trends is the idea of near infinite memory. This means our conversations with an AI won't just disappear into thin air the second we close the chat window.
It's kind of crazy when you look at how fast AI memory or its context window is growing. Not that long ago, a model could only remember about 2,000 words of a conversation before it forgot what you were talking about. Today, we're already at millions. The future is pretty clear. A chatbot that remembers every single interaction it's ever had with you. Think about that. A continuous, deeply personalized experience that just keeps getting smarter.
But as AI gets this powerful, it brings up some really fascinating, almost tricky new questions about how we humans are supposed to work with it. Like, for example, who's better at making a clinical diagnosis, a top-tier expert doctor or a state-of-the-art AI?
Now, a recent study put this exact question to the test, and the results, honestly, they are probably not what you'd expect. You'd think the winning combo would be the expert doctor working with the chatbot, right? But in this study, the chatbot working by itself actually scored the highest. It outperformed the doctor alone, and, this is the really surprising part, it even outperformed the doctor-chatbot team.
And this really shines a light on a huge challenge for 2025. It shows us that just handing an expert an AI tool doesn't automatically make things better. The real next frontier is figuring out how to design these systems so that the human AI team is genuinely smarter and more effective than either one of them could be alone. It's about true augmentation, not just simple assistance.
And that brings us to our final section. We've covered a ton of ground, 7 major trends that are going to shape 2025, but there's one crucial piece of the puzzle that's still missing.
So what is trend number 8? Well, this is the one that we're turning over to you.
So, what did we miss? What's the big thing on the horizon that we didn't cover? Is it going to be AI and robotics finally having its moment, major breakthroughs in how we regulate this stuff, or something completely out of left field? The final and maybe the most interesting trend is the one that you see coming. What do you believe will really define AI in 2025? It's a fascinating question to think about as we head into the future of this incredible technology.